Hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Long time no see. It's been a while. I didn't make too many videos in June, and so I needed to touch base with you. And now that life has slowed down and I got my slow July coming, maybe I can get some more videos out. But this video is going to be my Historathon 2024 third quarter T.B.R. or pile of possibilities for the next 3 months. Most of you who are watching this are probably well aware of what Historathon 2024 is, but in case you don't know or you're new to the channel, Historathon 2024 is a year-long reading initiative to promote history nonfiction. This great reading event was put together by Vin over at Revenant Reads, and he has asked a whole bunch of us to help co-host this. And so there's a whole bunch of us co-hosts on this, but the main idea behind this event is to read history nonfiction, typically a genre that gets overlooked here on BookTube. Although I would say that a lot of us booktubers are starting to maybe solve that problem, and we're trying to put the spotlight on history because history nonfiction is a wonderful genre that's got a lot of stuff to offer. So with this year-long reading initiative, what we have done, or what Vin put together, was to split the year into 4 quarters, so 3-month segments. And in the first segment, the January, February, and March, we read books from prehistory all the way to the year 500 AD, and there was a whole bunch of different topics that could fall into that, because this is a world history event, not just one particular country's history, although you can do histories on one particular country, but it is open to the entire world. And so really neat, some of the topics that have come up. You've got your obvious ones with the Greeks and the Romans, but this year we saw stuff from African history, we saw some stuff from Asian history, we've seen quite a bit of things from South American and Central American history. I mean, just all kinds of good stuff. And this event has just been offering up all kinds of book recommendations between the people on the Discord server, and so if you're wanting to get involved, go out and get on the Discord server, where we've got conversation going every day between booktubers who are actively reading nonfiction history. And if you're in an era where you get stuck and you don't know of any particular titles, all you got to do is put out a request, and there are plenty of people who will just throw titles out to you of really good books. So anyway, continuing what I was saying, second quarter. So that would be April, May, and June. So we just finished second quarter of Historathon 2024, and that is from 500 to 1500. So a lot of people had, of course, the Middle Ages. A lot of histories on the Middle Ages fell into this, and there were a ton of different titles. And it's pretty exciting to see people get excited about this, because people are facing, it's the end of June. What do I do about my reading? I'm not done. Can we extend it a couple more weeks? Can we go another month? I think that's awesome, because we're all getting excited about history. So third quarter is 1500 to 1820, and then fourth quarter, so July, August, and September, and then fourth quarter is October, November, December, and that would be from 1820 to the present. And so for this video, what I'm wanting to put together is a TBR list for the third quarter, since July has started. We're on July 3rd now. I'm a couple days late, but I recently had went down south to Texas on vacation, and so I've been gone for about a week and a half, and so I'm getting back into this, and now that my schedule's all cleared, hopefully I can get some videos up and talk about some of the books that I've been reading. So my TBR for the third quarter, what's on this TBR? Okay, so I'm going to go through the stack. I've got 3 of them that I really want to get to, and then I've got 3 more that are, if there's time. So the first one, and I've talked about this book before on the channel, And I don't get to it. I struggle to get to the book, not because it's bad or anything, just because I run out of time. But this is Band of Giants, The Amateur Soldiers Who Won America's Independence by Jack Kelly. And I've been told that this is a pretty good book. I'm excited about it. I think the title pretty much tells it all. Amateur Soldiers Who Won America's Independence. So it's going to talk about the American Revolution and those everyday citizens who helped to fight it. This is from Palgrave Macmillan. That's the publisher, and it is a 2014 book. And let me read just a little bit here. It says, the fighting men who turned the ideas of the founders into reality were a diverse and surprising group of Americans. In this concise, riveting narrative of the Revolutionary War, Jack Kelly paints a moving portrait of its principal soldiers, merchants and mechanics, farmers and fishermen, paragons and drunkards. Most were ardent amateurs. Even George Washington, who was assigned to take over the brand new Continental Army of 1775, consulted books on military tactics. Henry Knox, the burly Boston bookseller who took over the American artillery at the age of 25, had never been in combat. Nathaniel Greene, brilliant but insecure, was a pacifist Quaker who became the youngest of the American generals. Hulking Virginia backwoodsman Daniel Morgan relied on his deeply democratic instincts and his skill as a bare-knuckle fighter. Focusing on a series of pivotal battles, Band of Giants vividly captures the fraught conditions of the war, the divided populace, the lack of supplies, the setbacks on the battlefield, and the appalling physical hardships. In one of the most remarkable feats in world history, a group of inexperienced warriors confronted and defeated the superpower of the day, an accomplishment that turned them into a band of historical giants. And so, again, comes from Jack Kelly. There's your author. But I'm looking forward to that. It sounded like a good read, and it's been on my T.B.R. It's not too long. It looks like it is, if you don't include the notes at the end, it's about 248 pages. And so, fairly short read. However, I will say, text is a little bit small, so it might be, a little longer than you would think, but it also has maps and stuff throughout the book. But anyway, looking forward to that one, BookTube. So my second book that I want to get to that is a definite on the list. So these first three, like I said, I definitely want to get these first three done. This one was sent to me last year by Princeton Press, and I just did not get to it. I didn't have the time. So I want to make sure that I make the time for this book this year. And it is America Before 1787, The Unraveling of a Colonial Regime by John Elster. And like I said, the kind people at Princeton Press were kind enough to send this, and so I want to make sure I get this read, and thank you to Princeton University Press for sending that. And this is a 2023 book, so it is a newer book from last year. This says, with America Before 1787, John Elster offers the second volume of a projected trilogy that examines the emergence of constitutional politics in France and America. Here, he explains the increasingly uneasy relations between Britain and its American colonies and the social movements through which the 13 colonies overcame their seemingly deep internal antagonisms. Elster documents the importance of the radical uncertainty about their opponents that characterized both British and American elites, and reveals the often neglected force of enthusiasm and of emotions more generally in shaping beliefs and motivating actions. He provides the first detailed examinations of divide and rule as a strategy used on both sides of the Atlantic, and of the rise and fall of collective action movements among the Americans. Elster also explains how the gradual undermining in America of the British imperial system took its toll on transatlantic relations, and describes how state governments and the American Confederation made crucial institutional decisions that informed and constrained the making of the Constitution. Drawing on a wide range of historical sources and on theories of modern social science, Elster brings together two fields of scholarship in innovative and original ways. The result is a unique synthesis that yields new insights into some of the most important events in modern history. And so I have not read the very first of the volumes. Let's see. It says France before 1789, the unraveling of an absolute regime. That's the, and then he's also written Reason and Rationality, and then Explaining Social Behavior, Securities Against Misrule, and Alexis de Tocqueville, the first social scientist. So, he's got some books under his belt. I have never read him, so this will be my first one, but I'm real excited about this. And again, thank you to Princeton University Press for sending that to me last year. I'm going to try to definitely make sure I get that knocked out. And one of the next books that's going to be very high on my priority list, because it's been on my T.B.R. for a few years now, and I did get it started last year during the school year, but I ended up putting it down because I got busy. I have problems with that book too. I start books and then I put them down, not because they're bad. I just get sidetracked and my interests move into another direction. I got attention problems. Squirrel! So anyway, the next one that I want to definitely make sure, the top 3 contenders here that I'm wanting to get read is The Washingtons, George and Martha, Joined by Friendship, Crowned by Love, by Flora Fraser. And again, I started this last year. I only got like 50 pages in. It is a Alfred Knopf book, and it is a 2015 posting date. So I'll read the flap to you on this one. So the Washingtons' long union begins in colonial Virginia in 1759, when George Washington woos and weds Martha Dandridge Parke Custis, a pretty, charming, and very rich young widow. The calm early years of their marriage as plantation owners at Mount Vernon and as parents to Martha's 2 children, Jack and Patsy, both of whom present difficult challenges, yield to harsher times. Washington has been prominent among the Virginians in opposing British government measures, and at the outbreak of fighting in 1775, he's elected commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. The war sees Martha resolutely supporting her husband, sharing in the hardships of Valley Forge and other wretched winter headquarters. Essential to George's personal well-being, she is known as Lady Washington, a redoubtable and vastly admired figure in her own right. Flora Fraser provides us with a brilliant account of the public Washington and of the war he waged, and gives us as well the domestic Washingtons, whether at Mount Vernon before and during the war, or in New York and Philadelphia during his presidency. Even in wartime, Martha manages to scour Philadelphia to find a doll for her newest granddaughter and keeps careful control of her Virginia inheritance. George grapples with a formidable enemy without proper troops and often without basic supplies. His soldiers frequently lack rations, blankets, even shoes. And while always fearful for his wife's welfare and safety, given the constant worry that the British might descend on Mount Vernon, even so, a true Virginian, he manages to dance for more than 3 hours with Alexander Hamilton's pretty young wife at a makeshift ball. With victory and arrival of peace in 1783, the Washingtons hoped to remain at home, a hope dashed when, in 1789, George is elected our first president and Martha becomes a faultless first lady. During the presidency, they together negotiate the many pitfalls of establishing Republican entertainment, the weekly Congress dinner, the levees, and drawing rooms before, finally free of official responsibilities after Washington's second term, they are at last able to retreat to their beloved Mount Vernon. This is a remarkable story of a remarkable pair, as well as a gripping narrative of the birth of a nation, a major and vastly appealing contribution to the literature of our founding fathers and our founding mother. So, looking forward to that. Here's a picture of Flora Fraser, our author. I think this is going to be good. What I've read so far is good. The narrative moves along pretty well, and yeah, I'll have to report back on that. So those are, and I'll show you one more time here. We got the Washingtons. We've got America before 1787. And then we've got Band of Giants. Those are the 3 books that I'm definitely going to try to, like, those are top priority to get these read in the third quarter of Historathon. Now I'm going to give you 3 more titles that, if I've got time, I'm going to try to get to them. They're books I'm going to read, definitely, hopefully, if I get time. So let me start with Joyce Lee Malcolm, The Tragedy of Benedict Arnold in American Life. Now this one, I had talked with a fellow booktuber about Buddy reading this one. So this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to read it just because we might be reading it at a different time. I'll have to get back with her. And I know we both were wanting to read it, but I can't remember when we decided we were going to read it. If we're going to read it late this year or if we're going to read it next year. But anyway, that is one that is on my radar. And I won't read the full description of these, just to kind of keep the video going here. But the next one is The Last King of America, The Misunderstood Reign of George III by Andrew Roberts. And this is one that I've heard a ton about. He wrote biography on Napoleon and Churchill that were supposed to be really good. I've heard a lot about the Napoleon one, and I've also heard a lot about this one. And most people liked this one. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this. Now, it is a monster chunky monkey of a book, and the text is pretty darn small, so that one will probably take me a while to get through it. But I've never read a biography on George III, and I'd like to hear his side of the story. So I'd like to get to that one. And now, the other one is another Princeton University Press that was sent to me by Princeton University Press. And this is the biography of Maria Theresa, the Habsburg Empress in her time. And it's translated by, it's by Barbara Stolberg Reilinger, and it's translated by Robert Savage. So that is another one, and this is a monster of a book as well. But I really want to get to this one because this is going to play up in my my world history class. It's going to be very, very helpful for that. And so, yeah, BookTube, those are my possibilities. So I've got my T.B.R. set with these 3 books. That's the first half, and then second half would be more of a pile of possibilities, if one of those, if there is time, and those would be these 3 books. So if you've read these, let me know what you think. I'd love to have the conversation with you on, maybe there's an order that you want me to read them in, or maybe you don't think one of them's worth reading, or maybe you've got high praises for some of them. Just let me know. And so I thank you for watching, and if you're a first-time viewer, I thank you for coming along for the journey, and I hope everyone's having a great week. Heading into, for us Americans, it's heading into the 4th of July celebrations, Independence Day tomorrow, and we're really looking forward to that. I know my hometown's going to shoot off a few fireworks tonight, and then one of the neighboring towns is doing theirs tomorrow, and then we've got the big parade tomorrow morning. Possibility of a little bit of rain. I hope that doesn't dampen things. I don't mind the rain, but I hope it doesn't dampen things. I know right now we've got a little bit of a break in the temperatures. It's been extremely hot in the Midwest, just like pretty much all over the United States. We went on vacation. I told you earlier in the video, we went on vacation, and a couple days before we left, my weather app on my phone, and this is why all weathermen should be fired. Anybody this inaccurate shouldn't have a job. Sorry if you're a weather person, but my weather app said it was supposed to be in the low to mid 80s in Texas all week, and it's supposed to rain half the time we were there, and we were looking forward to it because it was starting to get hot here in Iowa. And guess what? Yeah, it was like 98, 99, 100 degrees the entire time we were there. No rain whatsoever. And so I don't know how the weather people keep their job. But anyway, just like yesterday, 90% chance of rain. Guess how much rain we got? Didn't get it. But anyway, now I'm complaining. So if you've made it this long, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it this far. And I hope everyone's having a great day. And until next time, happy reading.